Brandy. In the 16th century, a Dutch shipmaster was trying to make wine easier to transport, and so he decided to use heat to concentrate the alcohol, with the plan to add water to once he arrived at his destination. However, what he discovered was that the taste of concentrated wine is much better than that of watered down wine, and so he forewarned the water part of his plan and called his new alcoholic brandy wine, meaning burnt wine in Dutch. Chewing gum. Two variations of chewing gum have been around since ancient Greece. The gum that we know today wasn't invented until the late 1800s. It was then that an American inventor named Thomas Adams Sir stumbled upon the chewing treat, but only after first trying and failing to turn chicle, the substance that gum is made out of, into rubber. Popsicles. Believe it or not, the Popsicles creator was none other than an 11-year-old boy named Frank Apperson, who simply mixed some soda powder with water and left it out overnight with the stirrer still in entirely by accident. When he woke up in the morning, Apperson decided to lick his frozen soda blend, and he found that it actually tasted, well, pretty delicious. Originally, the young entrepreneur declared that his concoction, the Apsicil, combined with the word Ascil with his name, but he later amended the name to Popsicles, as children would refer to the ice pops as Popsicle anyway. Chocolate chip cookies. It's hard to imagine a world without chocolate chip cookies, but the delectable dessert wasn't actually invented until 1930. On the day that the cookies were created, Ruth Grace Wakefield, co-owner of the Tool House Inn, was preparing some chocolate cookies for her guest when she realized that she was out of baker's chocolate. Thinking on her feet, Wakefield decided to chop up a block of Nestle's semi-sweet chocolate, assuming that it would melt and spread evenly throughout the batter. Instead, what came out of the oven was very first batch of chocolate chip cookies, and the modern dessert was never the same. Potato chips. One of the Americans' most popular snack foods, the potato chips, was invented in 1953 by George Crumb, a chef at the Moon Lake Lodge Resort in Saratoga Lake, New York, when one of his customers complained that their French fried potatoes were too thick and mushy. As legend has it, Speak's solution was to thinly slice and fry some potatoes until brown, and the patrons loved what was to become the first ever batch of chips. CocaCola. The man who created the syrup for Coca-Cola was not a chef or even in the food industry. Rather, the soda's inventor was a pharmacist by the name of Dr. John Stitt Pemberton, who was seeking to create a cocaine and caffeine-filled alcoholic drink that the people with chemically addiction to drugs, including himself, could use to wean off or morphine and other drugs. However, when prohibition hit, Pemberton was forced to take alcohol out of his formula. Too, the cocaine remained for decades, and thus the first bottle of Coca-Cola was made in 1886. Triclinic. To the inventor of Triclinic, Jean-Baptiste Joly, did work in the clothing industry as a textile maker. His discovery of a revolutionary new cleaning method was completely by accident. It was only when his maid accidentally knocked a kerosene lamp over into a tablecloth that Joly observed that the kerosene actually made the cloth cleaner, thus swaning the idea for very first dry cleaning. Vulcanized rubber. Vulcanized rubber, used to make durable things like car tires, was accidentally invented in 1839 by Charles Goodyear. Though he had been trying to create a weatherproof rubbers for years, he was only successful in doing so when he accidentally dropped some regular rubber mixed with sulfur onto a hot stove and found that it still maintained its structure. The microwave oven. Percy LeBron Spencer was working on magnetrons, highly powered vacuum tubes that generate short radio waves called microwaves, when he accidentally discovered microwave cooking. The engineer was doing his job as usual when he noticed that the candy bar in his pocket had melted. Quickly, Spencer realized that it was magnetrons that were causing this phenomena. By 1945, he had filed a patent for his metal cooking box powered by microwaves. PostIt Note. As the PostIt website tells it, 3M scientist Dr. Spencer Silvers was doing research on strong adhesives when he came across quite the opposite, one that struck lightly to surface but didn't bound tightly to them. Silver initially had no idea what to do with it, his discovery, but years later another 3M scientist, Art Fry, came to him with the idea to create a bookmark that would stick to paper without damaging it. Eventually, the bookmark became the PostIt Note. That was all from us from today's video. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button and keep watching Beaming Wing.